Was Friday one of the windiest games you've ever been a part of as a coach?
It was up there. I mean, the whole weekend it was pretty windy. I mean, there was a couple balls that we hit out. There might have been a couple balls they might have got out too, and just the wind was all over the place. I thought our defense did a really good job. I thought our outfield did a really good job of dealing with the wind.
How do you adjust with the wind, defensively in those situations?
Just got to see how it's blowing. Anything that got hit to right ended up in center. Anything that hit to center ended up in left field. Paige Sinicki had a play. I don't even remember what game it was, but the ball was straight up towards second base, and then it ended up landing over by Taya. So I just thought they did a really good job with it.
How much do you think that having vets in the outfield who have played a lot of time together helps with just in terms of coordination and calling for balls and stuff like that when you have to deal with unfortunate circumstances like 30-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah, I think it helps out a lot. I think the one thing that this team does, regardless of their age, is that they communicate extremely well pre-pitch. We do a lot of shifts, so they have to constantly understand and know where the other is going to be. But I do think with them, having the veterans, it helps a lot.
How do you think the team is doing past the midway point now? What do you think goals you guys have achieved, and where do you think you can still improve with, obviously, a majority still of the Pac-12 season left to go?
Yeah, I think you could see this team really starting to figure things out, and we're getting hot right at the right time. I think just them understanding how to finish games. I think we're very, very talented in all areas, but I just think we got to a point at times where we weren't finishing things, or we were not being as clean as we needed to be. I think what you're starting to see with these guys is that they're striking early, and then just really doing a good job of keeping the momentum between the offense and the defense throughout the whole game.
As a coach, how do you kind of go about addressing that finishing when it's such a mental thing? It's something that's really, really hard to practice. How do you attack it as a coach?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. I mean, we practice on the field, obviously, but you would be surprised that we practice indoors as well, and talk a lot about just our mentality and things that we're wanting to do and how we can, handle different things that will come. And I think that has gone a really long way for us as well.
It's a big week here on the academic side. How do you feel like your team got through finals? I'm sure they probably may still be having some this week.
Yeah, they're actually doing pretty good. They're finishing up. We have a couple athletes that are in the science, in that college that just feel like they have finals throughout the entire week. A lot of labs that they're trying to complete, but this group is very academic. They take their academics very seriously. They work really, really hard on their grades. So they stress because they want to do really well with their academics, but it seems like we're kind of on the end of it, which is great.
How important do you think it was to kind of notch those first two Pac-12 series, get those wins under your belt, especially in the early going as we get this conference play rolling?
I think it's really important. I think if you can start off, moving in the right direction in the Pac, it's really important. Every win is so valuable. It's tough. Every weekend you're going to go into just a tough battle. So the more wins that you can get and to be able to get the series to go along with it, I think will really make a difference for us.
Speaking of that, you obviously have Arizona State coming up this weekend. What have you seen on film that they bring to the table that you guys are trying to address right now, getting ready, obviously, for this weekend?
I think that they swing it. You can see that they've got a lot of power at the plate. They run really well. I feel like we run, but they run really well. Also, they've got a complete pitching staff. So I just feel like everything we're going into every weekend is the same thing. It's just a different, just a different name on the jersey.
I know you're going through your season right now, but it is March Madness. And I'm curious, I don't know how many times you've gotten to interact with Dana Altman during your time here, but, he's taken this team that no one thought would get to the NCAA tournament. They've exceeded expectation. Just curious what you've noticed from coach to coach watching him over your time here at Oregon.
I just think he's excellent at what he does. I think to kind of on the outside, people feel him kind of quiet or he doesn't give a lot of emotion. I think he's really, really connected with his athletes. They love playing for him. He's a winner. He knows how to win. And when you can do that, then you can get teams to believe and to fight and get what you need out of them and to come through the pack and win the championship and get into March Madness. So I've always been a big fan of his. I'm pumped. We'll be following them, but am I surprised? No.
You guys in ASU are 1-2 right now in the conference in steals. How do you feel like it's going to be a battle this weekend on the base paths trying to gain an advantage?
Yeah, I think it's important, for us, for our defense, for our catchers to be able to throw runners out. And I think they'd probably say the same thing. It's about having the opportunity to throw a runner out, and how many runners can we eliminate? I think that's a big deal, is us being able to eliminate runners. So.
How much has you guys' speed been like a strength for you this year?
It's been huge for us. I think we've really rallied around our strength and seeing how we can use our strength to maximize, our offense and to get us to score runs. We hit a single, and with our speed, we're able to turn into a double. Same thing. We have runners at first and second. You've seen us steal second and third. So I just think our speed allows us to constantly be in scoring position.
Just curious, how much does the weather, if it is like a drizzle or there's a little bit of rain, how much does that kind of change your game plan, whether it's running the bases or, pitch coordination, what you're telling your pitcher on, in the circle to be able to do? How much does that impact that?
It really doesn't change things very much. It's just us just dealing with the inclement weather, which I think we deal with the inclement weather extremely well. It's just something that's kind of a part of Oregon. I mean, it's what makes Oregon so beautiful. But it's something that I think we have the facilities for, and our athletes just have the understanding of how to go about it.
Do you feel like that gives you an advantage, especially against a team like an Arizona or a USC or UCLA that doesn't really deal with inclement weather, obviously, when they're playing in the season?
I do.
Elise obviously had a great performance on Sunday. It seemed like she just got better as the game went forward. What did you see from her, and what allowed her to just kind of get that extra step towards the end of the game?
Yeah, I think early on she was I think anytime a pitcher goes, is on the mound, they're just trying to understand how they want their pitches to break and the type of command that they have over their pitches, and then executing their strategy. And I think it just took her a little bit to get there with those couple things, and then once she got there, she just got comfortable. She trusted the unbelievable defense that we have, and just settled in really nice. I think you got to see that she's got really good velo. She's got great spin and can change speed. So it was nice to go into Utah and on the third day start Elise, and they hadn't even have seen her, game one or game two. So that's what I really, really love about our pitching staff, is that we're deep and we're able to use these guys in different ways. But I think you'll continue to see more of her. I think she's going to settle in, and I'm excited to see what she's going to look like this weekend too.
Do you see her as a Sunday pitcher getting that start every time on Sundays?
Yeah, could be. I mean, she's got it these last two it was Saturday, but our last two final days of the series, it was her, so it could very well be.
You just walked 13 times last week in on-base percentage, over 440 for the team. How do you feel like that discipline is helping you guys at the plate right now?
I really think it's helping us out a lot, because I think earlier on we were chasing pitches maybe out of the zone a little bit and putting ourselves in tough counts. So with the walks, it's allowing us to, increase the pitch count for the pitcher, but then also we're able to get to see a lot of pitches and then put that next person in position to hit something. So I think it's been great.
The team has done a really good job. I mean, I attribute it to the scouting, but going into games and series, having a plan and executing the plan. So they've come out really well, but the times where there's been the stumbles is kind of the in-game adjustments. How do you foresee trying to help the team kind of take that next step and make those in-game adjustments so that they can reach the ultimate goals?
Yeah, I think that's just really a part of their growth and their experience as the season goes along. I think you got to see us in the Utah game. Game one, I mean, that's all three cylinders were flowing. And then game two, our early innings, same thing. And then just our middle innings just got in our way a little bit. But I think what's the really good thing is that these guys recognized that in game two and allowed them to bounce back and be really clean in game three. So I think some of these things that maybe have gotten our way a little bit, they're really recognizing and understanding how to prevent that for future.
How important is that to figure that out now, obviously, when you head into regionals and super regionals, where it's, basically a couple games that make all the difference in you guys moving on to that next round or having your guys' season end?
Yeah, I think it's really, really important right now that we figure this out, especially in the pack. If you want to win series and have opportunity to sweep teams, you've got to be really clean, and everybody's got to be able to pull their weight. So just going through this tough schedule right now, I I think about where we started in the beginning of the year and where we are and just how much we've improved already. We've played a really tough schedule. We've faced every pitcher possible. We've seen it all. And so it's just for us to continue to play clean and trust who we are. I think this team's really good.
And you had Hannah in the 9-hole all of last
Yeah.
weekend. How do you feel like she's settling into a new role and adjusting to being in that secondary leadoff kind of position?
I loved it. We talk a lot about in the 9, whether it's Hannah or whether it was Paige, to have the ability to flip the lineup over. And I think Hannah, since we put her there, has done a really good job of that. This last series against Utah, what was nice, not only did you get to see her slap and do some things short, but you started to see her power that she has as well. So it's not only for her to get on, but then if we have people on in front of her, for her to have the ability to drive them in, get on, and then now let the top of the lineup drive her in. So I really like what our lineup looks like right now. I think these guys are really understanding their roles and how we got to go about, what we need to do to get runs on the board early.
Throughout your career, you've not shied away of changing up the lineup throughout. Is it hard for you to tinker with the lineup when you score 20 runs in a game?
Well, if it's not broke, right? Don't fix it. So no, I feel like our lineup has been pretty established all year. I mean, I feel like last year at this time I was still probably tinkering with it. I think now you might see more people possibly up or down, and it could be more of like it's just strategy of who we're going to face, like a matchup. But I think these guys have really done a good job of setting themselves up to, stay where they're at in the lineup. I like the way our lineup looks right now.